Hello everyone, this is Uncle Stephen. Today is 11/6 of 2019 at 9:06 a.m. The reason I'm on here today is I want to discuss a few things, and one of the things I wanted to discuss is that how I feel about marijuana. Okay. As a person that's 53 years of age and know enough to be a lot of people's dads and things of that nature, I don't think marijuana is good. I don't think it's good for you. I don't think it helps you. I don't think it does any of those things. And a lot of people state that it does and everything else. Well, what I think happens if it's good for your health and everything of that nature, then why is it not legalized all over the United States? There's a federal law that says that marijuana is illegal. And just because a few states legalize it doesn't mean it's right to use. Plus, the fact I wanted to mention this is that if you are using marijuana and you don't have a license, then it's illegal. You shouldn't be allowed to have it. You shouldn't be allowed to use it. You shouldn't be allowed to do any of that kind of stuff. And if you're smoking marijuana and you don't have a license, you should be arrested for the distribution or be able to use marijuana. And that's how I feel. On top of that, I believe that it's wrong to smoke marijuana if you have a family. Because marijuana, and once you start smoking marijuana, you'll start doing other drugs like cocaine and PCP and all these other known illegal narcotics. And as a concerned parent, and yet I don't have any biological kids, but I do have a child that I consider to be my child. And I think that, and he's a lot older today, he's got his own family. But I want to mention this, that I think that if you're doing marijuana and you're doing drugs and you bring it into your family, and you don't go to work and you don't support yourself, you don't support your anything of that nature, and you smoke marijuana, and your kids show, and you look, your children see you doing that kind of stuff. Your children will want to do that. There's a verse in the Bible that says this: "What you do in this world, you shall pass down to the second and third and fourth generation." That means anything that you do bad, like if you do drugs, or if you go out or you steal and you lie and you cheat or you do things that are evil, either they're good or they're bad, they'll be passed down to the second and third and fourth generation that what you do. And the Bible talks about this. So if you're doing drugs and your children see it, guess what's going to happen? Good idea that it might happen to them. You don't need to be doing drugs. That's a no-no. That's not good. If you're stealing and your children see it, guess what they're going to do? They're going to steal because they saw the parents do it, and it says, well, if my mom and dad will go out and do that kind of thing, it must be good to steal because they do it, and it must be okay to do that. Children are a big influence. If they see something their parents doing, then they'll think it's okay to do it. Okay. If children see kids doing illegal drugs, then guess what's going to happen? They're going to do illegal drugs. Maybe no, maybe yes, maybe no. But if you tell them not to do something, and then you do the thing that you told them not to do, you know what's going to happen? They're going to do it anyway. It's just like if you drive a car without a license, and your children see you doing that kind of thing, they'll say, well, Mama drives without a license, and she drives a car without a license, without insurance, so why can't I do it? And then if your children see you having intercourse with another man, say your mother, and you're having intercourse with another man while you're married to your husband, they'll think, well, it must be okay because Mama did it. It must be right. Must be okay. See, my mother, I have a mother, and she did things that I didn't like. I believed that she was having sex on my father, and she was living in Lubbock, and they were separated, but they were not legally divorced. That doesn't make it right in the eyes of God. Well, I believe that she was having sex around with that old man, that 73-year-old man she was friends with. Friends, this means friends. And while she was married to her husband, I think she was having sex with a man. So, and I thought to myself, well, if my mother can do it, so can't I? I can, if she can cheat and say she's saved and says once she's saved, no matter what she does wrong, she's going to heaven. And if she says that she can do that and she can screw around on her husband and she can do, I figured, well, hell, I should be able to do the same thing. And I'm surprised my sister didn't learn the same thing from her mother, because and if her children, my sister's children see her doing something wrong and having sex outside of marriage, then she'll do the same thing, you know, because her kids will do the same thing that they're doing. And I don't think it's right. I don't think any man or any woman should do those kind of things. So doesn't mean I'm judging you personally. I'm just pointing out a fact about what I believe. And because of that, I wanted to point out that if you're doing drugs and your children see you do it, it's bad. It's not good, because you don't want them doing the same thing you're doing. As a parent, you know, and I don't like it, because I don't like marijuana. I don't like cocaine, and I don't do marijuana and cocaine. I never did that kind of stuff around my children. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's the proper thing to do. I think it's absolutely wrong. I never did it around my niece and nephew and all that stuff. And I've never smoked drugs. I've never done that kind of thing. I've never did illegal drugs, and I don't like it. I don't want to be around it. And there's several, side effects that marijuana does that can cause it. Because if you're smoking marijuana, then the next step up there is cocaine. Next step after that is using meth and other illegal controlled substances, and you don't need that. You don't even need the I'm trying to think of that other drug. Um, the synthetic marijuana. That's not really marijuana. That's incense. You don't need to be doing that crap. That could kill you. Marijuana maybe can't kill you, but I'll tell you that synthetic marijuana will. It will kill you. And I don't, as a parent, I'm concerned, because I'm worried that the kids I consider to be my grandchildren, which I never get to see because of who knows why. I don't get to see them. But as a parent, I wanted to tell you that don't do drugs. Don't mess up your family. Don't do things like that. Don't do drugs. Don't smoke weed. Don't do things that get you into trouble. I'm asking you, as a concerned parent, I'm asking you, please do not allow your children to do drugs. And please don't use drugs in front of your children. And please don't let them see you doing things that are wrong. You know, I didn't even know, I'm going to tell you something about myself. I had a grandfather, and my grandfather used to smoke cigarettes. You know, the whole time he was with me, I never saw him pick up a cigarette. Well, wait a minute. Maybe I did a couple times. But other than that, I never saw my grandfather on my father's side ever pick up a cigarette, ever smoke, ever do drugs of any kind. And I don't think it's right. And he never did drugs. Why? If that person never does drugs, then the other person shouldn't do it either. So, as a concerned parent, and as someone that doesn't have any biological kids, but does have children that he loves very deeply, I don't want to see my children and my grandchildren having doing drugs, and I'm very concerned about it. And because I don't want them messing up their lives. I don't want to see them getting screwed up. And that's how I feel. I'm a human being, and I believe that in God, and I think it's wrong to do illegal controlled substances. And you all have a good day in the name of Jesus Christ. Remember, if I didn't care about you out there in this world, subscribe to my videos even if you think they're boring. It's okay. It's bound to be boring. You don't have to do anything, but don't do illegal drugs. Like I said, please don't do drugs. Please don't smoke weed. Please don't do those kind of things. Please don't shoot yourself up with heroin. Don't do that kind of thing. Don't do it. Think about it before you do it, because your life means more to your family who loves you. Do you know when you do drugs and shoot yourself up with heroin, and this means that you got like a vial and you're gonna stick it in your arm, and that's called shooting up with heroin. When you shoot up with heroin, you not only are you hurting yourself, but you're hurting your family that loves you. And this is coming from me. I'm going to tell you, don't do heroin, don't do cocaine, don't do none of that stuff. It'll destroy you, and then if you die, it will kill you, not only kill you, but it hurts your family. Do you want to hurt your son or your daughter when you do drugs, when you mess things up? Every time you do drugs of any kind, you're hurting your family by going out and buying illegal controlled substances, and you're taking away from your kids. What if you're getting AFD, like food stamps, or if in some states they still give the actual stamps out, they don't give the credit card up. Or what if you get the welfare? You think it's right to shoot yourself up with heroin when your kids need that money for clothing, a place to stay? That's not right. It's not your money. It's your children's money for them to be taken care of. And when you pay child support to a child and you're shooting yourself up with drugs and smoking weed, do you even think about your children when you do that kind of thing? Because if you have children and you're supposed to love them. My mother doesn't love me, but she used to say, "I love you," and that meant that she didn't care. But I'm going to tell you that, please don't do drugs. Don't smoke it. Don't do drugs. Because when you do drugs and you go out and you're getting welfare and you're getting child support, you're not supposed to use that for your convenience. You're supposed to use it for your children's convenience. It is for them, not for you. If you need to go do drugs and all that other stuff, go get off your butt and get a job. For God's sakes. I mean, any addiction that you have, if you're smoking cigarettes and it takes away from your children's lives, don't be going into their AFDC money. Don't be going into their child support so you can smoke weed. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if the kids get harmed from what you do, you're going to ruin their life. If your children don't have food on the table and clothing to wear and insurance to protect themselves, guess whose fault this is? It's yours. Yours, the person I'm pointing at. Your fault. Because you didn't take care of your children properly. Just remember this. Y'all have a good day in the name of Jesus Christ. Please don't do drugs. Don't use drugs. This is my word for the day. Bye.